This week at the House of Mario, is GameShare inflating the price of Switch 2 games? Josh and I discuss, and we also break down Nintendo Partnership Direct, whatever it's called. You know, they got that many names for these things. Not really. But if that interests you, come on in. G'day everybody and welcome to the House of Mario, the South Australian Nintendo podcast that is backed by a 120 Power Star rating. I'm your host Drew Agnew and the doors, episode 349 are open. Very excited today as we are joined by Josh, or JT if you like, for the 100th and millionth time. It's fantastic. Josh, love the chance to talk to you every week. And very exciting. We got to see each other over the weekend, so I don't feel quite as blue-balled when it comes to my Josh time. How you going, mate?
Hey, yeah, that's definitely one way to put it. Hello, everyone. Yeah, it was great for us to meet up over the weekend, have some fun. Yeah, and then lots going on in the world of Nintendo, obviously, and we had a good chat when we met up in person, and yes. You telling me this inflation thing with the GameShare? It's quite interesting, actually. There's some legs to it.
There's some legs to it. Yeah, I haven't really heard anyone talk about it, so I thought it would be a little interesting topic for today. But Josh, I know you're a modest person. You're not going to bring it up yourself. Everybody, we've got to congratulate Josh. Over the weekend, he entered a half marathon, and he won the thing. He got first place. So congratulations, Josh. I just wanted to share that with everyone. Obviously, I've already said well done, but. Yeah, massive accomplishment, man. You're absolutely killing it with the running, the fitness, everything. I know you're very proud of yourself, but yeah, as you should be.
Thank you.
How's it all feel a couple of days afterwards? Were you a bit sore afterwards? How did it all go?
Yeah, well, it was on Saturday, and beautiful, nice and cold down where we did it, so it wasn't too hot. And yeah, I just kind of gave it everything. It was bit of a like all trails kind of half marathon. There was like I had to run on the beach for like 5Ks. I ran on like a dirt road for like 5Ks. I tripped up at one stage on the dirt road, but it was not too badly scuffed up. So I managed to keep going. And then towards the end of the race, there were hills everywhere. Man, that was hard. That was just trying to get through it. Then I realized I was in the lead at that stage and just needed to hold on. So it was a bit of extra motivation to keep me going. So yeah, very, very nice surprise. I don't do it for the wins or anything like that, but yeah, just nice to have all the running and extra training I've done sort of pay off, and getting results like this is pretty cool. So yeah, I haven't overtly told people. I do think I'm a modest person a little. So yeah, I wasn't going to bring it up unless you did. So you did the right thing.
Yeah, because you mentioned your brother. He must have just looked he saw the results without actually inquiring with you first, and he was very surprised. That would have been, like I said to you before, that would have been a very interesting way. Like, where's Josh? Oh, I haven't found him yet. As you get to the top, getting closer, he's at the very top, where he should be. So, no, absolutely fantastic effort. All those years, just to bring it back to video games, all those years of Wii Sports, Wii Fit, getting that cardio up, and look, you out there, fellow gamer, you could be a half marathon winner as well. Just got to play some Switch Sports. What was the fitness Switch game called again?
Ring Fit.
Fit. That's you could be. Just got to play all these. You'll be right.
I actually think don't play them. I really think my running hobby and my gaming hobby, when it's doing minimal movement, just sitting there. Get the controller, press buttons on the controller, not waving anything around. It's just the ultimate companion to running as a hobby. So yeah, they go very well for me, because after some big sessions, I just want to sit down and do nothing and play some games. So yeah, complements very, very well.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's like you're playing the Wii or something with motion controls. You're like, whoa, video games, you're overstepping to some of my other hobbies in my life. You got to tone it back. See that beanbag?
Down your lane, buddy.
That's right. See that beanbag behind me? That's the gaming chair. I'm not standing. I'm not doing anything. No, yeah, I get that.
It's honestly perfect, man. It's great. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, you just got to work out what other hobby you can squeeze in there. Um,
I think
trying
I'm
to
doing too much already, but
yeah, I think
we'll
you are
see.
too. Arts and crafts, just something a bit different. Woodwork, that's a good manly one to do. I'd love to fit in woodwork a little bit more. It's just so all the
You're no good at
tools and
it.
everything you need. Yeah, I feel like
Nah, yeah.
especially like I feel like that will blend into my gaming too because I got like some things I'd like to make, just like controller holders and all that type of thing. I'm like, it'd be really nice. You see some people with some really great DIY skills, and I'm like, yeah, I wish I could make that for myself one day. It'd be a good skill to teach the kids too. Mm.
Yes. I'd just be Homer Simpson making that spice rack. It'd be so horrible. Just no.
Well, at the
Yep, not
barbecue at the
happening.
back, yeah, that's right. Just like trying to
Yeah,
follow the
correct.
instructions.
Yep, yep,
Why doesn't
yep.
mine look like
Um,
that?
yeah.
Uh,
Michaela and I, she makes the IKEA stuff because I hate it so much. I literally hate it.
oh yeah.
But I'll do the best job of opening the box, getting all the parts out, and putting the plastic and the cardboard in the bin, and just like making her a cup of tea, and like, oh, does she need some food? And like, I do
Right.
everything else. I will like wash the dishes. I'll do literally everything else to avoid making the cabinet, and she just makes it and she loves it. So it works.
Just like rubbing her shoulders as she's doing it. You're doing a great
Yep,
job, honey.
correct.
Well done.
Yep, yep. Better than me because I'm not working out how to make that Bjork cabinet, whatever it's called. Like, it's just not happening.
No, not happening. No, that's fair enough. Well, you know your lanes. You're on the run. You're on the sit when you're playing games. You know your place in life, and
Correct.
that's good.
That's right.
All right, let's do some housekeeping. So, if you want to check out the House of Mario live, you can check it out on Mondays, 8:30 Australian Central Standard Time over at youtube.com/iDruby. Really would appreciate you being there. But of course, if you can't make it live, we're on VOD on the same YouTube channel, as well as podcast services of choice. If you listen to us there, podcast reviews are always appreciated. Can I keep track of them now after Chartable shutdown? No, I can't. And I haven't found any other tools. I'm sure there's a million of them, but maybe I'll get a nice surprise. A few of you leave some reviews. Appreciate it. And you can join our Discord community, the iDruby Homestead. There's an invite in the show notes. Go and check it out. There's a few of us in there. And in that Discord, you can leave us feedback and comments and concerns for the show itself in the Letterbox channel. And we're going to be hearing from some of the housemates later on in this episode as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it for that. But Josh, Nintendo Maniacs, over on your side of things, over at youtube.com/Nintendo Maniacs, you had an episode last week. So what was that all about, Josh? What do you want to send people towards for your arts and crafts on the digital space?
Yes. Well, I also have a podcast, and it's called Nintendo Maniacs, every fortnight. And I had Michaela, my wife, on the last episode. We go in depth on Animal Crossing. I made a blind rank villages. I had all sorts of fun talking about Animal Crossing and that new update for Switch 2. And then some cool other updates that had happened, like the Tomodachi Life Direct and so forth. So um, give that a rating if you like that. If you're still in the House of Mario, might as well do Nintendo Maniacs at the same time. Always appreciate it. And then last call out for anyone who wants to do the Metacritic guessing game in the Nintendo Maniacs Discord. Mario Tennis Fever comes out this Thursday, and that's the first game that's going to be scored. So all you have to do is join the Discord. There's a channel within, and yeah, have some fun guessing at what the Metacritic scores for the Nintendo published games this year are going to be. Free to play, and there's some prizes at the end.
Excellent. Yeah. No, we went through it last week and it was a lot of fun. So the more people to get involved, the better. So go and check out Nintendo Maniacs over on YouTube, the Discord, all of that type of stuff. But you mentioned Mario Tennis, Josh. Mario Tennis Fever comes out next week. And what's your feeling with that game? Are you looking forward to it? Is it something like you're just interested in? What's your sort of feeling towards it? I guess, only a few days out, actually. We're on Monday. Yeah, so how are you feeling about it?
Yeah. It's been something. It was first like annoyance and disappointment that we're going back to tennis, and we weren't getting a baseball or like a basketball or some other sport. It seems to be the three being what, yeah, tennis, golf, and soccer, and that's it. So, but the more I've heard about this game, like with all the FIFA rackets, there's like a whole bunch of them, 38 or something, like, or 30 of them, and then it's like 38 characters, and we get it all at launch, and now there's a baby Waluigi, and then there's a few extra in-depth things to do. I'm like, you know what? It actually sounds pretty loaded, and you know, with Tennis Aces, the one on Switch, they kind of drip fed the content to us, and it kind of became the full package towards the end, which I can see why they would do that, but it's kind of annoying in a way. So um, I like this approach better. We're going to get probably everything, it sounds like, straight away. It's a fully formed game. People can form their views on that part, and um, sounds like it might be the best tennis game out there for the series because it's looking pretty good. Hearing some really good things. So yeah, I'm getting keen for it this Thursday.
Yeah, fingers crossed. This is the first Mario Sports game to come out on the Switch too, so hopefully this is just a turnaround, a different era compared to the Switch. Because yeah, Mario Tennis Aces was okay, but then it was kind of downhill from there with Mario Golf and especially Mario Strikers, even though that wasn't obviously Camelot developing that game. But yeah, hopefully we're just Nintendo's putting a little bit more effort into the sports titles, especially with the new price tags
Yeah,
Switch 2 games have taken on. So fingers crossed. Next week we'll be covering it. I guess impressions over the weekend after I guess 4 days with it since it comes out on the Friday or Thursday. So that'll be quite fun. So I look forward to talking about that with you next week. But let's talk about the partnership direct. So, or the not partnership, the partner showcase.
Partner Showcase.
Yeah, I recorded a quick little thing about 20 minutes, like straight after the the showcase when it happened, and that was like 1:30 in the morning. So if I listen back to it, I'm probably very delirious and all that. But my basic take on it was, like it was fine, and there's a lot more to sort of break down from there. But Josh, I want to get your takes on this. Some games that you're interested in. Yeah, what was your sort of take on it overall, and did you come away from it with a bit of a lighter wallet with some pre-orders or some games you want to get in the future?
Yeah, well, firstly, I want to say I feel a little vindicated because I kind of predicted this would happen. There'd be no sort of mainline Nintendo Direct in February, and everything's sort of indicated that's the case. Nintendo's not really ready to show anything new just yet. They've got a lot to come out. So, this was like 12:30 in the morning for us. No Nintendo specific stuff. I was not going to say up for this one, so I was more than happy to have a good night's sleep and watch it in the morning. So that is what I did. A lot of stuff we already knew about, nothing too new being shown here. So that makes it, a little bit tougher to sort of, give a really good score. But like, those games that have come to, other consoles like Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Fallout 4, getting the anniversary edition, Oblivion, um, it's some cool stuff that is actually coming. And then with Resident Evil, Requiem, and Pragmata, there's, not new announcements or anything, but we got some like amiibo call outs for the first time. So the little tidbits of things. Um, so there's definitely things to look forward to. What we've got a release date for Rebirth, Final Fantasy VII. So that's good. Um, Orbitals looks a bit like It Takes Two, that kind of co-op playing kind of game. So that's going to get some people interested. I thought about you with Digimon, the Storytime Stranger game. And then Monster Hunter next month. So there's some bigger things coming out. Um, and so plenty to look forward to if you're into, any of these games, some bigger ones. But for me, it was definitely the new Paranormal Site game, which I was genuinely excited. I think this is like, one of the few times I got really, really excited in a partner showcase direct.
Oh,
I will
nice.
admit they're not the most exciting thing for me, but like this is like, man, this is really cool because um, I played the first one last year for the first time and had a really sort of uh, weird but cool experience playing that before like going to the place in person in Tokyo where it's set in Samita City. So I love that visual novel game. There's so many cool twists and turns in that game. We're getting a new one in like a week and a half. It's like 10 days from recording today. So that's absolutely huge. I want to play that day one. That's like, I love that first game. I've fallen in love with MEO, with the Famicom Detective Club games. So it's kind of a genre that I've really sort of gone into in the last couple of years. So this one's a day one purchase for me. And, a kind of nautical, like mermaid, siren kind of curse theming. I think they can have a lot of fun, and it feels different enough that it's going to be cool. And it looks like they've done hopefully maybe some other cool changes to the gameplay from what I've initially seen in that trailer. So that for me is definitely the number one thing I took away. I'm very excited to play that.
Yeah, and it's so soon too. Like I had to do a bit of a double take. Like February 19th, this month. All right, let's go. Like that is an extremely fast turnaround. Like you think like at least a month in between it, but no, just I guess for a game like this, get it on a relatively big stage with a Nintendo Direct, Nintendo behind it, and hopefully the fans see it because Paranormal Side, it's not a very big game, but people that know about it certainly know that it's a very good game. So yeah, very as soon as that popped up, I thought of you because obviously we've talked about it and you've played it, and the fact that that game meant something to you because you saw like real life locations as you went to Japan and you're playing it around the same time you're going there and all that. So it's kind of a game that I associate with you a little bit. So it's cool that you're getting a brand new one. So hopefully
Yeah,
it's good.
be
But
cool. For those who don't know, I literally paid for my accommodation, and then so I knew where in Japan my wife and I were going to go for a honeymoon, and then like in Tokyo specifically. And then I'm just like playing this game. I'm just looking at the maps here, and I'm like, hang on, like there's specific locations where this game is set, and then like I find out it's like a 15-minute walk. And Tokyo is a huge city, but it's a 15-minute walk from the accommodation I booked to the setting at the start of this game. And absolutely crazy. And like I visited it during the day. I didn't want to go at night. I was kind of a little freaked out to do it during the night. But I was standing in the middle, and it's kind of this like it's a still image, and you pivot on the spot. And so like I did the same thing. I sort of like stood there and recorded with my phone, and it's kind of pivoted on the spot, and it kind of creates the same sort of setting. And it's a bit of a jarring kind of movement to it at times, and I do it deliberately to sort of unnerve you. So it was just very, very, very weird, and just how it lined up with my experience of the game. So kind of like, because it's about curses and paranormal sort of activities, and I kind of felt like my experience kind of played into that a bit. So that's why I've become a bit more of a fan of the series.
so you're gonna have like a holiday out in the ocean now. Like, oh, I recognise that bit of landmass on the horizon from the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely know I haven't booked any accommodation where this game's going to be set. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's cool. So yeah, that'll be coming out. So apart from that, yeah, you've got nothing else you're really all that interested in because a lot of it was like, I think the main complaint is just like Capcom. They've got an amazing lineup of games and they're all coming to the Switch too. But we did know about them, and it's pretty similar to Bethesda as well. They're all very old games apart from Indiana Jones, and it's like we knew about them. So Todd Howard rocking up and saying, "Hey, look, would you like to pay $90 for Fallout 4?" It's like, absolutely not. That's kind of it when it comes to that. But then there's like a bunch of other games that are coming to Switch 2 later, which is good. Like we're getting Tales of Arise, Goat Simulator 4, just stuff like that, which is good. I'm happy to see it there. It's stuff that for the most part with like Tales of Arise, I've got that game. I've played it elsewhere, but I'm glad that it's there. The only thing that is kind of negative about these ports is just like it's good that they arrive on Switch 2, but it's just when they rock up in their full price when they're just so cheap everywhere else. I understand that they can't just rock up for $10 on Switch 2. That wouldn't make any sense for them financially and to do the port and everything. But yeah, it makes it a little bit harder to justify. Even if you only have a Switch, it kind of sucks looking at the price differences anyway. But yeah, it was just like an interesting direct, just from like it was interesting just to show what they wanted to put a spotlight on. But I guess at the end of the day, for me, all I wanted really was like, I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. So I just want to know when, the second game's coming out. What's it called again? I'm just thinking of Intergrade. Rebirth, that's it. I was like, and all that was coming to my mind was Intergrade. But yeah, so I just want to know when that's coming, and I got that answer. That kind of made me happy enough with it, just getting that one bigger game out of it. even though it's something that's been out for a while elsewhere and all that. But yeah, I was happy enough of that. But I guess for you, Josh, like I know that you're pretty limited in your time. So like a lot of us, we have to sort of pick and choose what we play, what we don't play, and you've pretty much decided that. Well, I don't want to speak for you, but you play like I guess mainly first party Nintendo games. So the odd third party games like that interest you is good, but like you don't need like a bunch of different stuff. You're not going to play like 20 different games coming to a presentation or something like that. So yeah, how do you feel about like just third party support on Switch 2 after this presentation?
Um, well, I think the first like year it's definitely building up, and there's more things that I think weren't being allowed to come to the original Switch that we're getting now on Switch 2. So I think that's a great thing. I think that's good. Um, and we're getting stuff that, Indiana Jones wasn't that long ago, like Rebirth wasn't that long ago, and we're getting them now, ready on the new console because it's probably more powerful and ready to handle all that. So that's a good thing. Yeah, like, but myself and probably, I don't know, like 80% of other Switch 2 owners, you buy Nintendo consoles, don't you, for the Nintendo games? And um, definitely with my more limited time these days to play and, experience different games, I've got to be definitely a bit more selective. So, yeah, the only ones here is I'm definitely going to play is the new Paranormal site. And then I do want to play Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. So, um, whether I do get on Switch 2 or maybe there's a discount for PS5. There hasn't really been yet for that game I've seen anyway. So, um, and what I've read is that the entire game's on the game card, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle for Switch 2, which is pretty amazing. So if that is true, so that might be a good way for me to experience it. But that's about it. It's building up. I don't know, like like Drew, what kind of game would need to be on here to make people happy with these directs? I like, would it have been Claire Obscure? I feel like that's the only obvious one that would have made people really happy because I think people are calling out for that one. But yeah, outside of that, I think people are going to be annoyed and disappointed. No matter what.
Yeah, yeah. There is definitely an aspect of a Nintendo Direct where there is the hardcore Nintendo fan who's like, if Zelda or Mario aren't there, I don't give a shit. And
Yep.
I don't fall into that bucket. If there is a big direct with a new Zelda announcement, I will pop off and I will be just stoked. But we're going to get that once every 5 years max. Just like the first like look at a brand new Zelda game or whatever it is, because Nintendo only have so much bandwidth where they can actually put their resources towards these massive games. So this year we are seeing a lot of the B grade games essentially. And some of them are franchises that I really like, but looking at whether it's like the Yoshi and the Mysterious Book or Tomodachi Life or all this stuff, it's like it is the smaller stuff. So people are wanting the bigger thing from Nintendo. But as far as just looking at it just as the partner showcase, I think for me, when I look at these partner showcases, I'm like, all right, this is Nintendo's sort of, I guess, opportunity to show or prove themselves in some way that they are a little bit more serious about third-party content on the Switch 2. And expectations are that a little bit higher again because it is the first year. So we heard the news stories about dev kits being slow to roll out. And after 8 months on the market, we're sort of expecting a little bit more now that, all right, some of these companies hopefully have been developing these ports for a little while and we can expect to see them at this direct. So that's where I was going into it. I was expecting titles like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I was expecting stuff from Capcom that we've already seen, but yeah, I was expecting Elden Ring to get its release date. I was expecting Claire Obscure. I was expecting some of these other bigger third-party games. And while
Would have been the one for me as well. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, like like you said, definitely. So yeah, I was just kind of expecting that, just to be like, just to make. I think the overall message I would have liked for Nintendo to put out there was just that, like, even if you're not really into Mario and Zelda, you might be a Pokemon player, but you can also play your other games over here too. Like, if you want a platform that you can take around in your pocket. You can take the hit on the graphics and the frame rate. But what you get from that is just the flexibility to take it wherever you want. This is a platform where you can play those games as well. And I think, like, if you look at it from a bird's eye view, I think the Japanese publishers are showing up very strong, like Square Enix, very strong, Capcom, very strong. But they've got work to do, a lot of the rest of the industry in some ways. And they might get there, but unfortunately what I got from this direct, it felt like a bit of deja vu from the Switch, just seeing some of the games they were pushing. Like, it wasn't even like the repeats of the Capcom games, because I think Capcom have such an amazing lineup for the first 6 months. Like, they honestly have a more exciting lineup than Nintendo. Like, you look at what they've got with Resident Evil and everything. Like, they've got
some cool things coming their way.
Yeah, just phenomenal. But like the game that they showcased, Tokyo Scramble, Switch 2 exclusive. So, but it's a game that looked awful, and it didn't look that much fun. Now, I don't want to judge it. I haven't played it. I haven't really seen anything else apart from what they've shown at the direct. But it definitely gave Switch 1 vibes, where it was like, this thing's kind of struggling. And that, alongside other major third-party games not being there, was kind of like, it kind of feels like the weakness of the Switch hasn't been addressed. And that is what I would have liked to see with the Switch 2. That's what I really wanted, was just like the weakness of what the Switch was, which is basically its lack of power and all of that, to be addressed with Switch 2. So Capcom, Square Enix, EA, whoever can bring most of their games. Well, obviously not all of them, because some are going to be really utilizing like the other consoles and high-end PCs. So it doesn't make much sense. And honestly, something like Battlefield or Call of Duty and games with massive installs and online only and all that, like that, it makes no sense to be on a portable platform. So obviously not everything has to be on Switch 2, but I think a lot of games do make sense. And that's unfortunately what I got from this, was just like, it felt like a little bit of just the Switch 1 repeating itself, and not really that many lessons have been learnt. But at the same time, Nintendo will have a direct, and honestly, stuff like Elden Ring, stuff like Clair Obscur, I would probably bet that will be slotted into a normal direct. Because normal directs, they're not all Nintendo games. It's not 30 minutes or 40 minutes of just, here's a Zelda game, here's a Mario game, here's a Kid Icarus game, here's a Star Fox game, here's a F-Zero game, here's Nintendo Switch Online. Like, it's not just all Nintendo stuff. Like, within there, like, they fit in the biggest, most exciting games coming to Switch 2 as well. So, there's still hope for that we might see that in the first 6 months of this year. So that might change things as well. But just when you say partner showcase, I think of exclusively the third parties, and the biggest third parties I kind of hope will be there. It's just kind of a weird branding thing they've got with the partner showcases, I feel like, because it is really, they may as well just say second tier Nintendo Direct. And because at the moment it feels like a normal Direct, but don't expect Mario. That's kind of how they're wording it. But yeah, it is really just second tier Nintendo Direct. You might see something you like, and if not, you'll see something you like at the normal Direct. But yeah, I just felt like a little bit disappointed in that way. I heard a lot of people discussing like who really cares about playing third-party games on Nintendo and all of that stuff. I heard all that just listening to reactions and people discussing this Direct. And I guess my take on that is like, we buy a Switch for the Nintendo games, but also the Switch is something that there isn't really like a real alternative out there. I know the Steam Deck. I've got a Steam Deck. I've got other handheld PCs, but they're not as small. They're not as simple, and they're not as pocketable. Not that the Switch 2 is that pocketable, but it's still a lot more pocketable than these other things I got. That's for sure. So yeah, I like just the easy factor of it. It's so convenient. So like, I want to play Resident Evil on it. I want to play Monster Hunter Stories on it. I want to play these other games on it. Even if I take a bit of a hit, like a bit of a hit to the graphics in it. I can't take I can't make it such a blurry mess, but yeah, we'll see how it goes going in the future. We've got another year of I guess Nintendo announcements and all of that, so we'll address it at in June and as we go along. But yeah, I would like to see it become just a little bit better. But yeah, sorry, I waffled on a long time there, Josh. Anything you take from that, or
Uh, just a little. I think the third party output is better on Switch 2 so far. So I kind of disagree with you there. And I think the first year of Switch 1 was pretty barren in that regard. I just think, we've got Cyberpunk straight away, and I just don't think people are buying as many third party games. So I think that might be part of the, consideration for these developers and publishers because um, yeah, it's the install base needs to be strong and that helps. But at the end of the day, if there's a Mario game or a really good third party game, and you had the choice to make, Switch 2 owners are going to choose the Mario game, aren't they? So, um, to be honest, I think the third party output is pretty much the best it's ever been on a Nintendo console here. Like I really think it's up there. So, um, we'll keep getting more, and I think they're building on it slowly. But the days where there was you know a big cliff jump of like we had the really okayish support at the Wii U, then it just died off straight away. I don't think we're going to get anything like that. It's just going to keep building up, and um, Nintendo's pricing strategy is going to ensure that they're probably going to keep selling these Switch 2s. They want to get them out there the next couple of years, get that install base up, and um, then you like to think the software will keep you know building momentum from there, and we'll continue to get the good third party output
yeah,
going on. So we'll see.
yeah. Well, I mean, if hopefully, I guess the biggest supporters that we do see is Square Enix and Capcom. So I guess what we can do is when the games are good and we want to play them, make sure we support them. And stuff like Indiana Jones as well, like the full game coming to cart. If people don't like game key cards and you're interested in the game, go and support that game, like close to launch. Don't wait for it to be $5 5 years later. Like support the developers making the decisions that you like. Because yeah, it seems like Capcom doing a great job with Resident Evil Requiem, because there was an event the other day, a lot of journalists in that went to, and apparently the game's running at 60 frames, like in handheld mode, which is like amazing. Usually you hear it, usually games get halved in frame rate or whatever to get running, which is, fine enough. But yeah, to be running like that sounds fantastic. So I'm very interested to see how that runs when I can get my hands on it. But yeah, I definitely agree with you that it's better than Switch 1, because the first year of Switch 1, like Nintendo was really trying to prove themselves. They're coming out from the Wii U, and while the Switch was a relative success out of the gate, it did have to gain momentum slowly throughout the first year, and once it had a lot of first party games behind it, especially by the end of 2018 with Super Smash Brothers, it had a lot to prove. Where the Switch 2, it's kind of it's just happy running off the success of Switch for a little bit. But yeah, anyway, that's what I had to say about the third party stuff, and I'm glad you're feeling good about it. I'm not feeling awful about it, but yeah, could be feeling a bit better. And I think it's just from the presentation. I feel like it made it seem worse than it actually is, to be honest. Just showing us some stuff we didn't really need to see.
Oh, they're better with Nintendo stuff in it, and people are going to hack it every time. So, I do think having partner showcases, isn't the best way to have it, because I think it, might be great for those games to stand up a bit more, but people just go into it with a sort of certain mindset.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It kind of plays well into Sam's question, so I'll read it here. Sam says, "My question is, because of the rumor videos and supposed leaks, do you think that we set unreal expectations on directs? I think directs are more often let down than amazing." So there you go. Yeah, how do you feel about that? I know, I think there's a bit of a typo in there, so I'm sorry if you didn't understand what I said, John. But yeah, how do you feel about the
people
unreal
like
expectations?
oh yeah, that's always a thing, and people have those things, and a perfect direct in everyone's eyes, or would be a new Mario and a new Zelda every time, and that's just not feasible. So, um, you got to look for the different things. So I definitely think I think I think we can enjoy directs a bit more, Drew, because we probably enjoy a wider range of games. And I seem to really like the weird stuff, and so whenever that stuff pops up, I get really excited. So, um, yeah, just really, you got to temper those expectations, don't you? But at the same time, I have fun trying to, hype things up, and you go through that vibe going into a direct of what it could be, and it could be anything, and I think that's fun to sort of hypothesize and work yourself up on, even if you do it to let yourself down when you realize it's not going to be that. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, there's no single direct with a certain number of games that will please. There's no formula that's going to make everyone happy every single time. So um, yeah, just got to temper that. They can only make so many games. I know they should probably have. They've got a great output, Nintendo, but they could always do more to speed up the bigger titles as well in between things. So um, yeah, tempering your expectations is probably a good thing, and I probably need to get better at it as well.
Yeah, I feel like we could all do that just like a little bit, but I don't come away from many directs being disappointed. I feel like my expectations, especially now I guess now that I'm like a little bit older, because like during the Wii U, for example, I was like so excited for directs because it was like the first time we were seeing games in HD, bringing them to Wii U. Like I was just absolutely stoked, and onto Switch as well, like Smash Ultimate. I just jumped out of my chair. I was that excited, and seeing Tears of the Kingdom and all of these games getting announced. Obviously, we had a lot of examples on Switch because there was just so many first-party games. But I'm sort of at the point now, like we've got that many. I've got that many games where I don't need like. I feel satiated in some ways, so I don't really have that many expectations. Like I said with the third-party stuff, I want the Switch 2 to be a strong, robust, and have a lot of variety as far as the games that it offers. But I don't really have too many expectations for like particular games. Obviously, I've got the things in mind that I really want, like just that I yap on about, like Kid Icarus and things like this. But yeah, I don't feel necessarily like I'm disappointed like too often. I think it mainly is just like towards the end of the last direct, the partner showcase, just like it ending on the Bethesda news, where I'm like, these are ancient games, dude. Like I know Oblivion was a remaster, but it's like, so I don't know. I was so man, like I couldn't care less, and I think maybe some of it is just how it's all organized. But yeah, I haven't. I don't feel too disappointed too often, but yeah, maybe the last one was a little bit more on that side. But it's interesting to hear Sam's disappointed by directs more often than not. I'll be interested just to hear what Sam would like in a Nintendo Direct. Like, is he expecting just like 5 Zelda games in one Direct, or maybe the Nintendo games aren't speaking to him as much anymore? I'm not quite sure. It'd be interesting to follow up on that one.
Yeah.
But yeah. Another interesting thing that I sort of found from this Direct is just when going to the eShop afterwards, Josh, and this is what I talked about you on the weekend, that I was looking into like some of the games. So the Bomberman collection, I just went to the eShop, noticed it was $37.95. I'm like, that's a lot of money for a friggin' Bomberman collection. Like, I remember quite enjoying Bomberman and some Bomberman rip-offs, like Flash games on some like online websites back in the day when you were playing Flash games. So I'm like, I wouldn't mind giving Bomberman a go. I've got an emulation device, but I wouldn't mind picking it up. I'm like, I'll pick it up for like $25 or something. That's fine. But seeing the Switch 2 price, I'm like, 37, basically $38. I'm like, that's ridiculous. So then I go and check out the Switch version, and it's right next to the Switch 2 version on the eShop. And that version is $25.52. Oh, sorry, 62. So it's a lot cheaper. It's like $12 cheaper, essentially, than the Switch 2 version. So then I go and check out the Steam version. The Steam version is the same price as the Switch 1 version. And I'm like, all right, so why is there such a significant Switch 2 tax on Super Bomberman Collection. And going into the little update pack for the Switch 2 edition, it tells you what the features are. It's GameShare. It allows you to play with players that do not own the game. You can do that with game chat or online communication, and it also supports 4K and for enhanced graphics. So 4K enhanced graphics, fantastic for Bomberman. I'm sure you're going to absolutely love those really crisp pixels in 4K from the NES games and all of this. So yeah, that's basically, and what's weird about this too, Josh, it's like, so that's an extra, the upgrade pack is $7.52. So if you just buy the Switch 2 version, and then, the Switch version, and then you just go and buy the Switch version, it's cheaper than just being like, I'm just going to buy the Switch 2 version just straight off the eShop without having to like do 2 transactions. It was the same with Red Dead Redemption, how that got its upgrade pack. And the Switch 2 version was like a little bit more, but the upgrade itself was free. So I bought the Switch version, then just went and got the free upgrade. So I'm like, there's some weird stuff going on with Switch 2 editions. It's confusing, it's annoying, but that's not exactly what I'm here to talk about. It's just the fact that it seems like all of these inflated prices for the Switch 2 version is because of GameShare. GameShare seems to be something that developers feel comfortable in charging extra for the game. And it's not just Bomberman, it's multiple other games. There was another game, just for an example, it's not too far down the eShop. It was a racing game, it was like GP something. And it was the same sort of price discrepancy again, it was about $12 difference. And it was because of GameShare, and there's just so many examples of this that they are more expensive. And I don't know how you feel about this, Josh. It's just GameShare to me, it's a cool feature, but it's also something that I don't see it being worth $12 more than PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Steam, Epic Games Store, anywhere else you could possibly buy a game. I don't understand why the Switch 2 tax is pretty extravagant, like, honestly. And not only that, it's more expensive buying it as a package on the eShop than buying the Switch version and then going and buying the Switch 2 upgrade. Like, there's something here that is broken in Nintendo's system. Because I feel like the Switch 2 editions for first-party games, for example, with Mario Wonder that's coming out in a couple of months, $30, you get new content. I feel happy with that. I feel quite good getting expansions for games that I've loved in the past, and we can revisit with new features, new content, all of that. But when it's just like concurrent games from third parties and even indie titles that are coming out, and there is this massive difference in price, it makes playing on Switch 2 when I've got to buy these games just a non-negotiation, like a non-starter for me. So, don't know, how do you feel about this? Obviously, you don't like paying more, but yeah. What was your sort of take on this?
I think you've just raised all the points. You raised all the points, and I agree with you. Yeah, I just don't see the value that everyone will see. Like, I agree there'll be times where people don't see the value in paying extra $12 just for GameShare. There'll be a lot of times when people don't need it. So, yeah, it sets a bit of an annoying precedent, doesn't it? And if it's just a GameShare and no sort of visual or other upgrades to make it look better on Switch 2, then I think that presents a bit of an issue. But yeah, I think you covered it well. I kind of agree with what you said.
Yeah, it's been an interesting couple of weeks just talking about what it means to play on Switch 2, because the hardware is great. I think you and I agree on that. We enjoy using it. I think it's great just being able to, dock it, and it really kicks things up. Like playing Final Fantasy VII Remake on Switch 2, like it just ramps it right up. It's in 4K. It looks pretty good on the big 4K screen. But just everything else like around it, like these Switch 2 editions, it just feels really poorly handled. And there were signs of this when the Switch 2 came out with Fantasy Life. Like I was on the website trying to work out if Fantasy Life had a Switch 2 edition before it was announced. And it had like a list of all the platforms and what to expect and what you get with your purchase. So on Xbox Series, you got the Series X and S version. On PlayStation, a digital copy, you got the PlayStation 4 version, you got the PlayStation 5 version with the same purchase. And on the Switch, if you bought that, you don't get Switch 2. You've got to pay for the upgrade. So that was like sort of the first red flag for me, just as far as just how Nintendo were handling this. Like there was Xbox handled it fantastic from the Xbox One to the Series consoles. Didn't have to pay anything, just auto detected what console you're running, downloaded the assets, ran it. PlayStation 5 was a little bit more tricky because you had to like download the PS4 version or the PS5 version. You could get that mixed up, but for the most part, with your purchase, you get both. On Steam, obviously, it's just selecting your settings. But on Switch 2, man, we're getting nickeled and dimed, something fierce from everyone. And I don't know, it makes it a unappealing place to sort of play games. I don't know. As much as I love the hardware and I love playing on Switch, it's kind of like I look at like the racing game I was looking at. I'm kind of frustrated I can't find it just on the eShop at the moment. But I was looking at that. I'm not paying $40 when it's $30 everywhere else. And not only that, like I don't get the 1080p 60 frames that I'll get with the Switch 2 version because I'm running the Switch 1 version. Like I'll just pay the same price on Steam and max the graphics out and play it there, or play the PS5 version, or like anywhere else, literally anywhere else in the industry, on any other piece of hardware, any other storefront. It's just, it's something. So something we'll keep an eye on. I haven't heard anybody really bring this up. Like Switch 2 editions are a little bit out of hand when it comes to pricing, and it seems to be because of GameShare. And I asked in the Discord just quickly, I just asked like, who actually uses GameShare? And it seems like a good feature. Like if it works well, it seems like a good thing to share with a household that already has pre-existing Switches. But Dolphin Pants says that they haven't had a chance to use GameShare, but the idea of it is awesome, especially for households where multiple members have Switches. So I 100% agree, but for like that, for $10 plus per game, that's going to add up very quickly. So yeah, just a bit of a frustration. So yeah, it's been a bit of a frustrating week just in Switchland. As much as I've been loving playing it, I've been playing it exclusively just for Final Fantasy. Yeah, it's just like, man, what's going on here? Like a bit of a wet fart direct alongside just some really bad business practices, unfortunately. But we will see going in the future, and it'll be something I'll definitely be keeping my eye on and bringing up here. Whinging to you about Josh.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, you're okay.
All right. Well, I've whinged about that. Let's talk about some current events that are going on in the world of Nintendo. And this is something I'm actually very excited about. I won't harp on too long about this, but the developers behind Train Simulator, they're making a brand new Thomas the Tank Engine game called Thomas and Friends Wonders of Sodor, rolling onto Switch later this year. So it doesn't have a release date, but it's made by Dovetail Games. And just for a little bit of context, I guess, there's their game Train Simulator. So I think they're up to Train Simulator 6 or something. They had an expansion that was Thomas the Tank Engine themed, and it was very popular. It was kind of cool. I looked at it and went, nice. Like I'm a big nostalgic Thomas fan from when I was like 4 or 5 years old. I absolutely love it. So I'm very nostalgic about it. I really want to get my kids into it, but they're watching Bluey and Blippi and bunch of other stuff. Take them back to the 80s, you know. But this game, it's like, it is a game made kind of for me and like my demographic, people that are in their 30s that want to re-experience Thomas. Like the trailer, it's got like the original Thomas the Tank Engine theme song. It's got like the island of Sodor, which is the island of where Thomas and friends live. It's like, it's open world. You can explore the island. There's collectibles like the original Railway series books that Thomas the Tank Engine was based off. You can find covers of them around and all of that. You can re-experience some of the most, memorable episodes. It's got a narrator. And and it's very much based in the engine of Train Simulator. So it does actually have simulation aspects to it as well. So it's made. It's not really well. Obviously kids are going to absolutely love it if they're into Thomas, but it is made for train enthusiasts, which is really exciting. So I don't know. I don't know how much this game costs. Or anything like that. This could be like $120 game. I'm like, no. But if it's a bit lower than that, I'd like to play it for sure. It is on Switch. It's coming to everything. I will not be playing it on Switch. There is no Switch 2 version. I don't do Switch anymore. I do Switch 2. And especially this type of game, like Train Simulator,
What's the difference though? I don't get that really. Like it's just you ever played it on Switch too though. I know it might not have everything you need, but yeah.
Yeah, but you play a Switch game on Switch 2. You can't turn up the resolution. The graphics don't get better. The load times might get a bit faster because you're on like a quicker SSD and the quicker memory card. But apart from that, you're not really getting that much. It is based off the blurry Switch version. So that's why. Because like otherwise I can play it on something that does it a bit better. Especially like 3D games. Like if I was playing something that wasn't 3D, like Bomberman, for example, I would like it to be sharp, but at the same time, it's fine. But yeah, something like this.
Fair enough.
A bit more. Because I hear that argument a lot. Just like it's not a very like technical game, Drew. Like why does it matter? So well, it does matter because maybe if it was a PC and it was like, oh well, this one's better, so I can just go into the settings and do it like that. It might make a difference. Like it's not optimized at all for Switch 2. So yeah, I mean that's why.
I suppose I'm just not as fussy on it. So for me, it just doesn't seem as much of an issue. But yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. So yeah, there's Thomas the Tank Engine. There's one person out there who cares. Also, Overwatch 2 coming to the Switch 2. Sorry, Overwatch. It's dropped the 2, and it's coming to the Switch 2 later this year. So when season 2 kicks off, it's going to be coming to Switch 2. Season 1 has just started on the new rebooted Overwatch. So I probably actually will give this a go, to be honest with you. I've been sort of wanting to do one game a month where I get outside of my comfort zone. So whether that's like a big RPG that seems a bit daunting or an online multiplayer game, I would like to try some more online multiplayer games. I kind of just glaze over whenever I see them. Like just go, I don't really care. But I would like to try and get into one. So the idea of playing it on Switch 2, that excites me. Apparently when the first game came out on Switch, Josh, people loved playing with the Switch players because they could barely aim because they're playing on like tiny little Joy-Con, just like sticks. But when they introduced the gyro controls, Switch players become really really dangerous because the aim got way better. So yeah, see if the same on Switch 2. See if everybody just like is a sharpshooter because of the gyro. You won't be playing this, will you? You're not interested?
No, I will not be.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And just to wrap up this side of things as well, Michael Ansel reveals a brand new Rayman the original Rayman will be receiving a HD re-release. And pretty exciting. Just quote from him himself. If further evidence of Rayman's enduring popularity is required, then surely this comes with the knowledge that his first outing is being rebooted. I think Rayman is still a fun game. There's lots of content. The pacing is a bit slow because you have a big character on screen. It also has pixel-precise gameplay, so it's not always easy. But it's interesting that the constraints of yesterday make it still feel original today. Even though it's complex, I think there's a kind of remake planned. I don't remember when specifically, but it will be in HD, and I think Ubisoft is adding a few more checkpoints and things like that just to make it a little bit less frustrating. I think it's nice. It's a nice move because that's the only point. That's the only point that could be a problem for non-skilled players. But yeah, I think it's a very nice game. So yes, end quote. Cool. I'm a big Rayman fan. I want anything Rayman out of Ubisoft. So the idea for the 30th anniversary, it'll be good to get that. So I hope that comes out soon. I want to see more Rayman, more 3D Rayman, more UB Art Rayman, all of this type of stuff. So yeah, see if it catches your attention when it gets announced, Josh. And
I love Legends. Rayman Legends is awesome. That's a great game. So that's really the only one I properly played, and that was super fun.
Absolutely, yeah. One of my favorite games of all time, Rayman Legends. Just absolutely amazing. Probably my favorite 2D platformer of all time is Rayman Legends.
Yeah, I can see why that's the case for
Mm.
sure.
And not too much on this, but the Pokemon Company released a trailer at the Super Bowl only a few hours ago, I think, something like that. Just with
Yep.
a bunch of celebrities saying their favorite Pokemon. So wonderful. I bet they spent the whole budget of a Pokemon game from Game Freak on that
Yeah.
that slot at the Super Bowl. Did you see it by chance? It was only like not long
I
ago.
have seen it. Yeah. So yep, yep. A lot of Gen One love.
There is a lot of Gen 1 love. Yeah, so get a bit of variety in there. Get someone being like, oh, throw and Squawk are my favorite characters, my favorite Pokemon. Get someone saying some heinous stuff like
That's
that.
right.
Get Elmo and
Where's my Garbodor fans at? Come on.
yeah, Vanilla Ice and all that. Yeah, just get some
No,
Gen 5
no,
love.
no, no one likes that. That's no one's favorite.
Get some Chandelure love. If that was me, I would have been
Yeah.
there saying, "Oh, Chandelure." I just love how Whitlick lures in kids and sucks out their soul. I love it. Wonderful Pokemon. I want one. Anyway, Josh, let's talk about what we've been playing. Have you still been playing Skyward Sword?
I have. I did that annoying Durahim boss battle. And that I was kind of stuck on that for a few days in Skyward Sword. Um, I found that to be a really annoying, silly boss battle where you got to like hit the swords in certain directions, and it doesn't really clue you in on what you need to do. And I feel like it's one of those moments where if I didn't really try hard because I want to finish this game, I might have just stopped and just not continued anymore. And I imagine probably a lot of other people have done the same, but
Definitely.
I managed to get through that. So I'm back to the Farron Woods, to the Sealed Time Gate, whatever it's called, and I'm so close. I feel like I'm very close to finishing this game. So yeah, the good times will keep resuming now. I feel after that silly, stupid battle.
Yeah, you can have like a bit of a breather. Been like, oh, thank God. I can guarantee you some other frustrating
Yes.
bits will come up, and you have to go through it all again.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm still loving it. It's just those moments like that. Like I know that would have been even more annoying with the motion controls. So yeah, I can see why maybe moments like that kind of take the polish, the shine off a little when it comes to remembering this game. But I'm still really loving it overall.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, just been that. You've
That's about it.
obviously had a very busy weekend, so not much downtime really.
Yes, not much else.
Yeah. Actually, when you were down for the weekend,
about you?
did you play any Switch, or did you just chill out and watch TV after your half
I,
marathon?
I I did that boss battle the Friday night before the race.
Oh, okay.
That
Yep.
was yep, yep. I'm like I want to try and move it through it, get it done with, and I did it, and I was able to keep going. So that was good.
Yep. Yep. Nice. You should have got Michaela to drive back and just play Skyward Sword for the few hours you had. I
No,
I can't do that
it's
anymore. I
about
get
the same.
sick. I get sick like doing that stuff. I could used to just sit in the back seat, and I used to take like a big stack of gaming magazines and my Game Boy Advance, and I'd just play like 2 hours just the whole ride. But I can barely sit in the passenger seat now without getting a bit sick. Like I'm always driving, so when I'm not,
Mm,
it feels weird being on the other side, and don't know. It's like complete opposite of what I was. I'm fine driving, so I'm just the
yep.
driver. And I was thinking about on the way to the race, I'm like, oh, could I get like an hour of Final Fantasy in? Like, it's a great time to do it. Just get Chantel to drive. But no, I'll be sick trying to run then.
Yeah, that's all right.
For me, what have I been playing? I played mostly Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's what I've been putting most of my time into. I'm like only probably like 12 hours in now. And yeah, I'm still really enjoying just how graphically impressive it is on Switch, and going between handheld and docked. I played docked for the first time the other day, and especially in the cutscenes, I'm like, they look so crystal clear, like fantastic. It's just really really impressive playing it. So, but yeah, I'm really enjoying the story. Like I knew I'd love this game, but just like really actually getting to learn the characters. And I haven't finished the original Final Fantasy, but playing like a few hours into it and being able to match up moments in Final Fantasy VII Remake and how they're like not really a little bit of out of order, but they've got lots of storytelling in between those moments in the original games. It's kind of like, it's like you point your finger at it. Oh, that's that bit. So I could only imagine what this game was like when it came out and before those spoilers and everything, and people that have been fans of the game for over 20 years at that point, and you could really point at like the differences and where the game diverts and all that. I think it'd be really special. So I wish I was like that, but I tried to play the original Final Fantasy VII multiple times and I just couldn't really do it. Just lost my interest, like with new games coming out and just a lot of distractions and all that. Yeah, I just couldn't do it. But my idea is that like maybe after finishing the remake, I'll be like really excited about the world and the characters and everything, and then that'll allow me to actually go back and maybe enjoy the original a little bit more. And while I might not get that for the first third of the game, where I'm getting those differences, if I can finish that game and then play the other two games afterwards, then I'll get the ending and all that sort of lined up, and I'll know the differences and all that. But we'll see how we go. I'll just get this game out the way first. But
there you go.
Yeah, no, really enjoying it, and it's good that I've got a bit of an idea of when Rebirth is coming out, because then I went like, well, I want to play this. If I can fit some of the other Final Fantasy games in the next 4 months, I might be able to do that too. But yeah, I'm really liking it. I'm using like I did a stream the other day, and I'm using a lot of basically the inbuilt cheats. So with the Xbox and Switch 2 release of the games, they did a patch across all of them where there's basically, I guess, story enhancing cheats where you can just run through the game and not have any consequences. So it's everything from basically being invincible to having 2 times XP and all of this type of stuff. And for the most part, like I turned on 2 times XP because there's something about me in RPGs where, like in Pokemon, for example, I'll do like a lot of work to get a lucky egg. So a lucky egg gives you twice the XP for the Pokemon that's holding that item. And just having it there in the menu, I'm like, I can't not have the optimal. It's just giving it to me. Like I can't not do it. If it's going to make it easier for me, I don't have to grind and all of this. Like, what's the point of not turning it on? Like, it's just right there. Like,
that's just nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I get the argument of like, look, you don't have to use it, but it feels so dirty using it as well. But at the same time, it's right there. It's right there. Like, I don't have to do a new game plus. I don't have to earn it. It's just there. But I think ultimately it is helping me enjoy the game more, because the way I'm playing the game, I'm playing it in handheld mode for the most point. You can see behind me, Josh, I've got my beanbag out of retirement, and that thing is actually too comfy. It's way too comfy. The other day, I saw Chantel, she was in the bathroom. I'm like, all right, I'll go in the bathroom after you. So it's about 8 o'clock. The kids are in bed. I sit in the beanbag. I'm like, oh, it's comfy. I'm just on YouTube for a bit. And she goes off to bed. I'm like, all right, it's my time to use the bathroom. I don't get up. I didn't get up till fucking like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm just so comfy. I just plonked myself there for 5 hours. Oh my gosh. So yeah, no, it's a little bit too comfy, but yeah, for the most part, I'm just playing Final Fantasy, just chilling out, enjoying the story, the characters and everything. So I don't mind, ultimately I kind of like that they've got those features there, and it sounds like they're coming to the Rebirth version on Switch 2, and it'll probably be everywhere, I dare say, but I don't mind it there either. Cause yeah, I was doing a stream where like I was getting my butt kicked like twice in a row for a certain boss. So I'm like, all right, I want this guy gone. So there's an option for doing just max damage. So for each phase of the boss, it's like one swing of the sword. I'm like, well, I didn't like that. that felt dirty. But at the same time, it's out the way, and I can just continue the rest of the game, and I don't have any roadblocks. So that's not too bad. But yeah, I can just turn them on and off as I see fit, depending on how I feel that night. But yeah, I don't know. There's a part of me which is just like, man, I just want to. It'd be good just to take the challenge on and up my gamer skills, get over the challenge. But Yeah, it's just the options are just so in your face. I'm like, what if I just turn on this max damage just for this boss?
Nothing wrong with that. Like,
Yeah,
like months on after you move up to this game, it doesn't really matter, does it, when you think about it? And
no,
it's a hobby and something you want to, enjoy. And if you can turn these on and enjoy it more, then nothing wrong with that. You're a busy man, father of two,
yeah,
working full time, loving wife to take care of. So yeah, when you got this time, make sure you maximize the enjoyment.
yeah, that's right. Like at the end of the day, I'm not competing with anyone. I'm not trying to get the platinum
Right.
trophy, and I'm not going to come back and go, I am the best. I have all the achievements or anything like that. I'm not trying to prove anything. So yeah, at the end of the day, it works well for me, and especially in areas where like you're moving through them, you go into a checkpoint or something, then like a horde of enemies come out at you. Instead of like hit, use your abilities, all of this type of thing, like go through the minutiae of the battle system, you kind of just like go away, boof, 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 dead, and you kind of continue on. So yeah, it speeds up the game and probably a good way for my limited sessions, especially for something like this, because I actually want to pay attention to it. Like I can put decent time into games where I don't have to be solely focused on them. Like I put a lot of time last month into Old School Rally. It's just driving and trying to beat a time score. So that was pretty easy to do, like get 30 hours within the month, like rack up. It's just like a little bit here and a little bit there. But
Yeah.
Final Fantasy, I'm like, I want to watch the cutscenes and all of that. So I don't really boot it up much throughout the day. But so yeah, I'm enjoying that. I've got some games that I want to play before next week. Obviously, Mario Tennis Fever we're going to be playing, but also I do have a code for Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. I just haven't started it yet because it's hard to RPGs at the same time. So my idea for Reimagined is basically like, I'm not going to aim to finish it necessarily. I'm just like, it is going to be like my nice, cozy, just pick up and play RPG. Like the story isn't so in depth, but I really love like the look of the game and the music and everything. Like as soon as I saw it at a Nintendo Direct last year, I'm like, I really want to play that. So really happy I've got the opportunity to. Thank you very much to the publisher for sending that game my way. But a few more impressions next week. So next week's going to be a big week for game discussions, Josh. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully not so much whinging from me about prices and things. But I should be talking about games. Who would have thought?
Well, wait till Mario Tennis Fever disappoints you.
Oh, that's true. That could happen too. That's very possible.
You
I
never
come
know.
here and just go, not enough balls. Mario Tennis. Not enough balls. I love them. All right, Josh, let's finish on a relatively big topic, but this is one that you always love to cover every quarter, and I do too. I don't say that I don't, but basically Nintendo's financials ending December 31st. So, Josh, I don't know if you have anything pulled up or you want me to go through an article here. How would you like to tackle this?
Save your vocal cords, Drew. I can take this one if you want.
Go for it.
So yeah, we've had Nintendo's financials for the end of December 31, so that quarter. And it's not just Switch, but Switch 2 now. Yeah, I think I've got a chart usually show with Switch 1 sales, and I've got one now for the Switch 2. But yeah, it looks like it was 7.01 million consoles sold for the Switch 2 for the quarter, just a little bit lower than the Switch 1's first Christmas holiday period, and it kind of just built up year on year from there. So overall, Switch 2 is having a really good first year. Maybe that first Christmas is probably a bit lower than they were thinking, but they had such a big initial launch that it's all still overall well above what they were probably expecting.
Yeah.
So
It'll be interesting.
I'll try and share my screen with you.
Yeah, we got technical difficulties on the video side of things. That's why anybody watching on YouTube, it's just my dumb face. Yeah, I can't say anything, Josh. Oh, can I? No, it's doing that. All right, it's doing that loading thing again. But yeah, it is.
That's right. I'll
Yeah, sorry, you go.
You go.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was just interesting. We're very polite. Don't talk over each other. Yeah, I thought it was very
Huge
interesting.
resale.
Just the holiday sales, like the PlayStation 5 actually outsold Switch 2 in the holiday period. So uh, it's kind of interesting just to have a discussion about that aspect. Even that, PS5 has been out for, what's it, 5 years? Yeah, at that holiday point. So what reasons do you see behind that?
Yeah. I think a lot of it is, people were really keen to get it straight away, and it's still the best selling console on track to be after a year, which is phenomenal. Um, I know they've done everything they can, Nintendo, to buy the components in bulk and get that economies of scale. There's some stuff in the investor notes about trying to get stuff out there. Um, I just think like the fact that people didn't need to buy a Switch 2 this holiday period because the game that really sold really well, Pokemon Legends ZA, like most of the sales came from the Switch 1 version. Like 13 million came from, or something like that, came from the Switch 1, and then it was about 4 million from Switch 2, or it might have been 9 million versus 4 million. But, and, all the stuff with like AI, um, you know, building up the price of RAM and whether, Nintendo's going to like pass the costs and, are those profitable margins still there after all these component increases? And so, they're at a bit of a crossroads here now with what they do, but going from the vibe of it, like if they do increase prices, it's only because they really have to. I feel like they're somewhat reluctant to do it just because they want to get that install base up. So, um, interesting times ahead. I know with the Switch sales, they have dropped off a lot. Like I think there was about 1.6, 1.36 million for that holiday quarter, which very low. And December last quarter was 4.82, and that was the last holiday when it was just the Switch 2 as the exclusive console. So
Mm.
that's dropped off a lot. I did have end of December this year, they get to the 160 million to beat the PlayStation 2, but I just think now it's going to be another 6 months. I'm thinking
Oh,
June 2027 we'll find out, which will be in September with the results. So, um, sorry, July or something, sometime after, maybe August, we'll find out. So, um, I think it will happen. It's just going to really trickle in those sales numbers, and yeah, be they'll just get over it. I don't know if they'll get much above 160 million, to be honest. Whether they'll get to 161, maybe, but after that, I think that's the ceiling for this thing.
yeah. It's going to be tough to get there too because, like, obviously you've got like your spreadsheet and your chart sort of set up, so like just over time, and you've got it mathematically set out to just predict it. But what it doesn't account for is that it went up in price in the States by $50 with the Switch 2 already out,
Yes,
just thanks to
yes,
tariffs. So it, like, while it is the cheapest handheld, like, it's still a very expensive handheld for what it is, and the games are still very expensive. So I don't see how it's all that appealing to pick up now for a lot of people. Obviously, there'll be kids that want it. There'll be all this type of thing, and like a parent looking at it, just being like, oh well, just pure numbers to numbers.
yeah.
It makes sense. It will be the one of the cheaper
Would you
consoles
buy
to get.
Switch 2 for Lucas?
Well, a Switch Two,
If you had nothing else, like literally, like no other consoles right now, you would buy my Switch 1 right now,
a Switch
surely,
One.
not Switch 2,
Yeah, it's hard
like
to.
a Switch Lite,
So yeah,
like literally his first gaming console.
yeah, yeah. I probably would. Yeah, like a Switch Lite. Yeah, I'm just. Yeah, obviously I've got like a handful of switches I can probably just give him, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Trying to ignore that, but just like a brand new parent and their kid wants a gaming device, you know, and the Switch library is still there, isn't it? So to me, that would be, I think, a choice a lot of parents would make.
yeah, yeah, it depends if he obviously if he wants it, but um yeah, like to me the Switch is the one I want my kids to get into. It like I'm not gonna give them access to an iPad or a phone, like definitely not. Just the type of mischief they can get themselves in with free reign to the to the internet on those devices. So it's a no go.
Yeah,
Like maybe the PlayStation, like honestly, the PS5, it's got an absolute killer feature that the Switch doesn't have, is that I can use two controllers as player one. So I can give him a controller and he can play Paw Patrol, and he doesn't really know how to play a game, but I can just sit there with my controller and just correct him and maybe jump here and there and do that. So yeah, like the PS5 actually works out really well. But as far as like their own device, I feel like Switch is what I'd want them to have, because it's got the family games, it's got the kids games. They can't go on web browsers and all this type of stuff. So yeah, I definitely feel a lot more comfortable giving them just a Switch.
Yeah, and it will make it will continue to trickle along. And I know there's been a price increase in the States, but there's a whole Japan market, Europe, Australia, elsewhere, where it
Mhm.
has remained the same. And whilst there hasn't been a price cut, it's remained the same. And you got Switch 2 that's even higher. So comparison wise, it looks cheap still for those markets at least. And yeah, I think it's still it's not like the Switch 2 is a completely different console with no ecosystem related to the Switch 1. It's still there. So um, yeah, I just the trickling will just be a bit slower than we thought. And yeah, you make a good point about the price increases in the US. That's probably had a big dampener to the sales.
Yeah. And like looking at it, catching up the PS2 as well, like the PlayStation 2s that were selling at this point in Sony's numbers, like they were dirt cheap. Like they were nowhere near the price of like what the Switch is selling for now everywhere. You could get like a PS2 for probably like $50. So like they were selling these just as like second and third DVD players and all sorts of stuff. So in some ways, as a pure gaming platform, like Switch has basically done it in some ways. But just to get that official number will be
Yeah.
big. It'd be interesting to see. Like PlayStation, if you go to their website, I don't know what website it is, but I was looking at it. They've got like the amount of PS2s listed under 160 plus million. So if the Switch gets to 160, Sony can still reach into their back pocket and really look at their stats and
Add some decimals.
add some decimals. That's right. Whether it's an extra 1 million or
160.99.
yeah, that's right. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it'd just be interesting to see what the lifetime of Switch One will be. Like, will it continue to be around for the next 5 years as a cheap alternative to Switch Two? Like, will it be an important part of Nintendo's ecosystem for much longer? Or will it be discontinued relatively quickly and Nintendo wants a Switch 2 Lite and all of that to replace what a Switch 1 would essentially be now? So that'll be, I guess, mostly telling of what they end up doing. But the beaten DS. So it's now officially the most popular and most sold Nintendo platform. And in some ways, it kind of needed to be, that you think about it, without a handheld and a console. Like, it kind of needed these massive numbers to make up for a Wii and a DS essentially together. So, yeah, no, cool stuff.
It's a great milestone and definitely deserves it. And you go to like garage sales or like other meetups, you see DSs everywhere, and we're going to be like that with Switches one day. They're just going to be absolutely everywhere. So pretty amazing, and it's recaptured a lot of gaming for a lot of people. So yeah, pretty amazing system.
Yeah, so let's see if it can get there. Anyone out there who hasn't bought one yet, just go and buy a really expensive, inflated priced with tariffs and RAM shortages and all that. Go and buy one. Go and buy your 9-year-old console. A lot more expensive than back in 2017. Go and do it. But yeah, some interesting sort of sales updates as well. I don't know how, like you mentioned about Pokemon and how the sales are kind of split up between like Switch and Switch 2, because it seems like the Switch 2 version of the game is only counted for the physical copy sold. So if you buy the Switch 2 version on the eShop, it counts as the Switch 1 version. Like, because it counts as just the Switch 1 and you just plaster on the expansion, like the Switch 2 edition onto it. So when it's like split up and you see like really low numbers, it seems like that's the reason why. And it's also why like Metroid Prime 4 isn't on that list, because it's split up between Switch and Switch 2 and it couldn't get over 1 million copies. How do you feel about that? Yeah, Metroid Prime. Obviously, that came out like only a few weeks before this cutoff, so it wasn't going to like smash up to 1 million in a couple of days anyway. But how are you feeling about Metroid Prime 4? Are you still bullish about the future of the series and where it can go, even though it doesn't seem to be moving the needle whatsoever on Metroid?
Yeah, like a bit of a kick in the guts when I saw it and it wasn't mentioned. So that's, and I know the rules where they split the Switch 1 and 2 versions, and what you mentioned, the other rule as well. So um, I had heard and read that a Nintendo official confirmed to a journalist that it had sold over 1 million copies combined with the Switch 1 and 2 versions, which I would have thought is like really the minimum. But man, like this
Mm.
is a um, like I went into it, if this game had been made really well and was scoring really well, I think my expectation was it would outsell Dread and get to the 3 million. Obviously not here straight away, but would be on the way to doing that. And so, um, for not even year one of the systems, even like just a Switch 1 or just a Switch 2 version alone selling 1 million copies is, it's concerning. I went I've seen a lot of people try to sort of spin it around and put a positive spin to it, and that's fine. And that's always, there are some things you can look into, but I think for me going into it, they probably would have expected it to sell slightly better. Um, but there's so many issues. It's so fascinating just how the marketing of this game happened. The stop of NCL working with probably Bandai, we don't know, making this game and then outsourcing it to like making Retro Studios restart development, and some of those things transferring what happened in the first build to the second build, and probably some things Retro would have decided to do impacting the output of the game. There's a whole myriad of reasons why Metroid hasn't done well here, and it's a real shame because I think it deserves more love, and the way it's been treated is a bit not near what it really should be, and so um, I don't think it impacts them doing the sequel though. So I think that's still happening, and I would have on this one knowing if Retro do it again, it's going to be from scratch, and they can have more creative choices from the get go. So um, yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic of that. So we'll see, but yeah, it's just not a big series that sells well, which is a bit sad. I think the release date of 4th of December was a bit bad as well because so close to Christmas, costs are always a thing. I feel people might delay getting it straight away slightly because of that. Um, but so many game sales for certain games happen within that first couple of weeks of release, don't they? With the
Oh
hype
yeah.
and people getting it straight away, and so um, I just don't know if we will really see many concrete sales numbers for these games, and so it's just going to be one of those sadly footnotes of a series that's just not going to get the love it probably needs. It's a good game. It's not a great game like Metroid Prime is, but still a really good game, and yeah, it's just sadly not getting the sales to correspond with that.
Yeah, especially comparing it to Dread as well. I think Dread might have been at a different time in the Switch's life where it was very exciting to see, and the game did look great and it got very good reviews as well. Whereas maybe for Switch owners weren't that excited in it. I think most of the excitement would have come from the Switch 2 version for like hardcore Nintendo fans and seeing the Switch 2 edition features as well as like the 4K and everything really helped just the look of it. So maybe that's where some of it come from. But yeah, bit of a shame. But
Yeah.
hopefully we don't see the end of Samus's journey just yet. Some other games. I thought Mario Kart World, just interesting to see it at 14.3 or 0.03 million copies sold. Obviously, it's been bundled, but still very impressive, big number. And then quite a drop off to the second most sold Switch 2 game is Donkey Kong Bonanza at 4.25 million. So yeah, how do you feel about Donkey Kong sales? It seems like they're pretty good. We've got 17.37 million Switch 2s out there, so like a decent chunk of the install base. But I don't know. I wouldn't have been surprised to see it a bit bigger either.
Yeah, I think it's a little soft. Yeah, noting that because they're the big two Switch 2 games, aren't they? Mario Kart World and DK Bonanza. So
Mm.
um, it didn't have a huge quarter. It was up from 3.49 million to the 4.25. So over that Christmas break, it didn't sell a huge amount of copies, but those numbers will be pretty high by the end of the system's life because it's been out straight away, and it's just going to be one of those one of those first few games people buy on the Switch too, because it's an amazing game and people are going to hear about it from word of mouth. So yeah, maybe if we get a DK movie or if DK makes a reappearance in the Mario movie coming up, it's going to be there and available to for people to buy. So it's going to be a slow burn, that one, more so. But yeah, that will definitely get those near million sales figures every quarter and just keep chipping away.
Yeah, definitely. Like when we talk about Metroid, just saying like it's really important for most games to get most of their sales in the first couple of days, the first week, the first 2 weeks. Like it's incredibly important to these developers and publishers. These games, though, very different, very like evergreen, always burning games. Like just comparing them to what happened on Switch with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, best-selling game. It's now at 70.59 million. Same with Animal Crossing at 49.32 million, and Super Smash Brothers at 37.44 million. Like the top three games on Switch, like evergreen, always sell. Like if you pick up a Switch 2 for the now to the next 5 years, like you probably look at Mario Kart World and be like, yeah, I need a multiplayer game. I like Mario Kart fine enough. Chuck that in the cart. Look at a Donkey Kong game. Yeah, that game looked fun. It looked a bit different. And you buy the Mario, you buy the Zelda. Like it's all just new consumers are always buying it. Whereas like if you pick up a PlayStation, you might not look back at Spider-Man, Miles Morales at the start or something like that. That's probably a bad example actually. That probably is more of an example of an evergreen game on PlayStation. But yeah, other developers don't get that luxury. Oh god, I can't talk. Luxury, like Nintendo do. But yeah, I don't know. Was there anything else in this we have to talk about, Josh? I think that was most of it. But
no, that's the main stuff. Yeah, investors are nervous about the potential price increases, and the RAM costs, and there's some stuff about are you going to do stuff for the 40th Zelda anniversary? But the Nintendo's being coy, not saying anything. So yeah, that was the main stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool. It'd be interesting just to see if I guess the sales pick up from over the next 6 months, because I feel like all the games they're also games that aren't going to encourage people to pick up a Switch 2. Like it's like maybe Pokopia, but also probably not for how expensive the Switch 2 is. It doesn't seem like the type of thing to move somebody that much. But yeah, I'll be very interested to see if any of these games coming up are like the stuff that actually moves systems, because it doesn't really feel like it. It feels like the system's selling games are at the very start and everything else is just to keep us happy, and they get their next big hit later down the line with something else a bit bigger. But we'll see. All right, let's move on to some questions. So we got one from Zach, and he said, with Nintendo's financial results showing continued success for their business, I've seen a number of older Nintendo fans disappointed that Nintendo haven't been humbled. Basically hoping that if Nintendo saw some sort of failure, it would drive them to either do more directs or make more games or lower prices, etc. If Nintendo weren't as successful as they have been, do you think things would change? If so, how? Do you hope Nintendo will be humbled sometime soon? Josh, how do you feel about this? So basically a lot of, we saw at on the lead up to Switch 2, a lot of people saying lower the price, all this type of stuff. And no, I definitely don't think those people are wrong. I think a lot of Switch 2 stuff is very expensive. But, for better or for worse, Nintendo haven't really seen any hit to their financials. They're a bit nervous over the holiday season, but I mean, that's to be expected just looking at what games they released when, like I just talked about just before. But how do you feel about them being humbled? Would you like to see them be humbled?
I like competition is a great thing for gaming, and helps with that kind of thing. And yeah, people voting with their wallets certainly pays part of that as well. I think they know that the Switch and the Switch 2 are a winner now, and they are charging us for it. So Yeah, gone are the days of getting a free game when you buy like your Wii U or your 3DS, or a price decrease 6 months after release. It's just not happening at the moment. So um, yeah, like, and
What?
unfortunately, we have to reap the rewards of, well, Nintendo's reaping the rewards of their success by making everyone, us included, pay more for the titles and the games, and so, um, yeah. But in saying that, now, like, I can't, I don't want to go back to the Wii U get days, and the output and the sporadic, release schedules of that. So, in a way, this is still better, in my opinion,
Oh
if
yeah.
the launch lineup of games continues that way. So, um, like, I think the first few months of Switch 2 have been pretty good with games, and quite good, really. So I just hope that continues. So yeah, sadly, just, yeah, the price you got to pay for this sort of sustained output, really.
Yeah, because you mentioned the Wii U. Obviously, they got extremely humbled, and even the 3DS early on humbled them as well. But I guess the thing
Yeah.
with the Wii U, like it humbled them, but they didn't fix it. Like it didn't help them fix it. They had a a flaw with the Wii U just in general. It just people didn't want it. They didn't want to pay $430 Australian for it to get an experience that they didn't really see value in compared to what their competition was offering for a lot less. Especially when the PS4 came out as well. That was just such a good console, and Sony had such a good first party output. Through the PS3, and the PS4 just got off to a really great start. So there wasn't really much they could do with it there, but the humbleness, I guess, pushed them towards changing, trying something different, changing their whole business strategy when it came to putting both of their consoles as one, and that paid off pretty well. And throughout that generation, there wasn't really any humbling, no, oh shit moment. We've got to pivot. We've got to cater to the fans. We've got to do this. Like they did a lot of things right. They did some things wrong, but yeah, going into the Switch 2, you look at it with like brand new eyes, a brand new generation. I feel like for me, I look at the prices and looking at the price of the actual unit itself, like $700. I'm like, that's fine. Like, it is what it is. I didn't feel ripped off paying that price for sure. But yeah, the price of the games is what gets me. And I've talked about it a lot already, so I won't go through.
We've talked about it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't have to go over that. But yeah, it was yeah, I feel like for me, how I can not humble them or whatever, but just vote my wallet is just like, well, I will either wait for some games to go on sale, or I'll skip these games, or I'll buy these on other platforms. It's not me trying to do it on purpose necessarily either. It's just what works best for me. And yeah, so if anything, I just say do what best works for you as far as um, playing on what platforms and supporting what developers, publishers, hardware, and all of that. But Zach, he sort of mentions older Nintendo fans disappointed. I don't know if there's any relevance to that, like older Nintendo fans. Remember the good days, or anything like that. But yeah, also like I don't know who. I haven't actually heard anybody with these specific complaints, but like wanting them to do more directs. I don't want them to do more directs because they obviously don't really have anything to say. um, so yeah,
Yeah. No, that's it. Like, yeah, it's just a trying time, and for gaming as a hobby, it's expensive, isn't it? Like, it's just gonna, make it trickier to, find all that stuff to spend. So yeah, we're just gonna have to be more selective at times, which, yeah, makes it a bit trickier and harder.
yeah. And to end it on, we got a question from Dolphin Pants. Said, if you were added to Mario Tennis Fever, what would your racket be, and what power would you have? And at my racket, what would my racket be? All right, I reckon I'll just take from another Nintendo series. I'm like, look, I'm taking that. Nintendo, you've got the rights to it, so you can let me have it. I'll just get like the Hyrule Shield, the Master Sword. That would be my racket. And everybody would choose to play as me because, like, is that the Master Sword? I don't know who this Drew guy is, but I'll play as him because he's got the Master Sword and looks cool. And you can use all the Triforce of power, and I could just smack it back at you. That'd be cool. What would you choose, Josh? What would your racket be?
Um, Maybe it makes their side of the court so huge that no matter where I hit it, it's just gonna go in. and make it impossible for them to return it. And then my court's incredibly small, like a coin or something. They can't even hit it, so I win automatically. Something like that. Some cheesy way.
You're just like those Final Fantasy cheats I've been using. If you want to do that, you just pick Josh.
Yeah. Game set match.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, we'll be able to play that next week, and you'll be able to play as Drew and Josh. We'll be able to play doubles together. Yeah. So it should be good.
Be good.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that brings us to the end of episode 349. We've got episode 350 next week. So that should be interesting. Nothing planned for it. Just normal episode as far as I'm aware, but it should be good. Josh, anything like to say before we get on out of here?
No, but yeah, big week ahead with tennis, fever. Then we've got the Virtual Boy next week. I've got Paranormal Site next week. Some good times ahead. Looking forward to it. Absolutely.
Yeah, that should be very good. To play us off this week for the Nintendo Jukebox, we've got the bonus games title from WarioWare Minigames Mania. So if you played a minigame in there called Jump Forever, you might remember this. It's a little bit of a bop, but it's nothing too special. But I just chose it for something a little bit different. Because usually I'm just like choosing something from something everybody knows. But this one, you won't know. So guys, thank you very much for listening to this episode. Really do appreciate it. Remember to join the Discord if you like to chat with us or be a part of next week's show. Remember next week we're talking about all about Mario Tennis Fever. But until next week, the doors to the House of Mario, they're closed. We'll catch you later. The House of Mario, a Nintendo podcast, is proudly recorded in South Australia. It's hosted and produced by me, Drew Agnew, alongside my co-host, Josh, or JT if you like. Be sure to check out youtube.com/iDrewby, where I share all of my other content and stream the House of Mario live every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Australian Central Standard Time. Join the Homestead Discord to be a part of our growing community, chat with fellow Nintendo fans, and get involved with the show through our mailbox channel. And don't miss JT's fortnightly Nintendo podcast, Nintendo Maniacs. Each episode features a brand new guest, and if you love the House of Mario, you'll feel right at home there too.